Have you ever wondered how the people in the USSR imagined year 2017 to be like? More specifically, the 100th anniversary of the Great October Revolution? Well, we are in for a wild and a fascinating ride. So let's get cozy in our chairs with a warm cup of tea and let's enjoy the show. The following slideshow was made in the 1960s and the source is only available in the Russian language, so I will do my best to accurately translate and narrate it for the English speakers. So here we go. Are there such people who are not thinking about the future? What it will be like? Who wouldn't like to take a glimpse into the next century? Reading books about science fiction, getting acquainted with the predictions of the modern scientists and bold engineering projects, we can try to create our image of the future. So, let us take a glimpse into that future. Let's travel 50, 60 years forward. Maybe during the 100th anniversary of the Great October Revolution, the students, just like you, would be watching a movie about the past and the current reality of our country in their geography class. A movie about how the Soviet people are manipulating the nature itself for the peace and prosperity of this world. Here they are, the students of 2017, in the study movie hall. A special movie transmission technology called the time magnifier enables them to observe how the new appearance of their country was created. They could see how the bridges were extended towards each other above the bottomless mountain gorges. How the precisely targeted atomic explosions were cutting down the unnecessary hills and digging canals. How open NSA canals were reversed and guided into the Caspian Sea. This, until recently dried out sea, now was able to receive the valuable river waters. The young students heard the voice of the speaker, and here you can see a dam across the Bering Strait. Can you see? On it, with a great speed, are moving the atomic trains. This great dam has blocked the cold currents from the Arctic Ocean, and thanks to that, the climate in the Far East has significantly improved. Then they could observe on the screen how the Earth's surface became transparent and the activity deep underground could be seen. In the depths of the volcanoes, underground mole ships made from special heat-resistant steel alloys were digging mines and tunnels to the unlimited energy sources. Then, on the screen, the Earth has also disappeared, and somewhere far in the deep space, the photon rockets and spaceships that were moving seemingly at the speed of light could be seen traveling to the nearest and the furthest star systems, such as the Alpha Centauri. When the movie session came to an end, the geography teacher Nikolai Borisovich has reminded the students that tomorrow the class is going on an excursion to the underground city of Uglograd, located in the deep Arctic. The next morning, Igor woke up from a gentle flick to his nose. That was how the clock in his room was waking him up. It was created as a joke by his father, who is one of the supervisors of the Central Institute dedicated to the weather control. Narrowing his eyes, the boy has realized that the soft plastic hand that has just woke him up has retracted back into the clock. Today I can finally see Uglograd with my own eyes! A sudden happy train of thought came across Igor's mind. Mom was not present at the kitchen, but she has left a note program for the smart cookie machine. "Ah, that's my favorite breakfast meal!" happily exclaimed the boy. Igor has carefully inserted the note program into the machine. Checking the note, the invisible sensors were going through every letter and at the same time checking and measuring what is needed and how much of it. The automatic knives were quickly cutting through the vegetables. When suddenly, from the father's office, Mom's voice could be heard. Mom was observing everything from a TV screen. She was standing on the deck of a ferry. On this ferry there was also a kindergarten where her younger children were stationed. "Have you managed to prepare the breakfast?" she asked smilingly. "Are you at the Black Sea?" perplexedly asked Igor. "I'm currently on a business trip, inspecting the floating kindergartens in the Black Sea area, and I have brought your siblings along for the ride. Tell Dad that I will be back tomorrow." After half an hour, Igor was already far away from the capital. The Arctic has greeted him with a violent blizzard, when suddenly the students from Moscow were surrounded by a group of local workers. A huge vault has opened right before their eyes, and a wide escalator belt was taking them to the unknown depth. Soon they were navigating across the streets of the Ugligrad. In the air there was a delicate aroma of linden trees. Looking at the people suntanning under the artificial lights, it was hard to imagine that on the world above there was raging a blizzard. On the outskirts of the city, as the giant machines were biting through the earth, a lot of interesting things were told to the students by the Ugligrad's head engineer, Vladislav Ivanovich. "Here underground we have an eternal spring," with pride claimed Vladislav Ivanovich, "but the cruel weather above is really interfering with our delivery schedule." But could the flying weather manipulation station help with this matter? Asked Nikolai Borisovich. Looking at him, the kids were waiting for the answer of the head engineer with great anticipation. "Right now, the actions of the weather station are just a temporary measure," answered Vladislav Ivanovich. "However, to build a permanent solution, the only remedy would be to design an inner city metro which goes through the entirety of Arctic. Here you can see the model of the new Earth drilling machine. This machine will work on the newly discovered Masonic energy that enables us to double the digging speed. However, there is a great future lying ahead for the flying weather station. A person can be at his office doing his business while manipulating the station remotely, giving an order, and the station will fly to the designated spot and calm down a hurricane or destroy a storm." Little did they know that soon they would be able to discover what was the weather station truly capable of. At the very same time Vladislav Ivanovich was discussing the details with the students, in Moscow at the Central Weather Institute, the head meteorologist and the on-duty weather forecaster, who happened to be Igor's father, Evgeny Sergeyevich, were discussing the emergency signal coming from the remote area of the Pacific Ocean. "This information has arrived just now," said the head meteorologist, "that the last of the imperialist forces hidden on an island in the Pacific Ocean were testing the forbidden Masonic weapon. During the test, there was an explosion of unseen power which has destroyed the entire island and at the same time has caused disturbances in the Earth's atmosphere. That must be why our machine has suddenly forecasted a powerful 12-point storm in the region of the Black Sea, although the yesterday's forecast predicted a pleasant weather," yelled Evgeny Sergeyevich. "The explosion in the southern sector of the Pacific Ocean has caused the appearance of storms and hurricanes of unbelievable strength. We should move quickly to save people," stoically stated the head meteorologist. "Is our flying weather station ready?" he asked. Suddenly, a scary thought came across Evgeny's mind. "Ships, floating kindergartens, and there is also my wife, and Nina, and Vitya too. The hurricane is approaching with every minute, but our station is not yet equipped with remote control. Let's ask for the permission for the manned flight of the weather station," said the head meteorologist. "We will fly alone. Of course, we will be risking our lives, but we should save the children, sailors and ships." The permission for the flight was received, and just a few moments later, next to the flying station's windows, there could be seen enormous water torrents, so monstrous that it seemed they were reaching all the way to the skies. On the TV screen that was installed inside the station, the images of the Black Sea coast being ravaged by the hurricane appeared. It was tearing the rooftops of the buildings and pulling out trees by the roots. The head meteorologist has covered the windows with dark glass. The scientists were patrolling around the controls constantly. However, the fire was so bright that it was hurting the eyes even through the dark glass, because the station was projecting the invisible Masonic energy which was used to battle against the hurricane. When finally the Masonic rays were turned off and the black glass was lifted, the hurricane has vanished into the thin air. The flying weather manipulation station has effectively saved hundreds of lives. The explosion in the Pacific Ocean that has created a deadly hurricane that has almost completely destroyed the Black Sea coast was also noticed in the capital city. The gloomy skies looked as if they were made of some kind of grey goo. The capital city was preparing for the grand festivities. The streets were appearing much livelier than usual. Moscovites were fighting for the fresh newspaper that delivered messages about the new breakthroughs in the Soviet sciences regarding the weather control. And suddenly, the grey skies have also vanished, and the torrents of golden sunlight have once again fallen on the buildings and parks. The golden corridor was getting wider and wider. The weather control station could be seen slowly floating above the city. The jubilant public was readying themselves for the 100-year anniversary of the Great October Revolution. This celebration has coincided with the grand victory of the Soviet science over the nature itself. When Igor's father came out of the weather station, he hugged his son like never before. Later that night, Evgeny Sergeyevich has turned on his tele-video phone and called the fairy that went by the name Kahetia. From the screen he could see his smiling wife, and Nina, standing right next to her, proceeded to exclaim, "Dad, in here there was such a warm and lovely rain." This scene being the one bringing the slideshow to an end. Whew, that was fun, wasn't it? Tell me, what are your thoughts about the future? How do you think the next 50 years will be like? Do you think it will drastically improve, or will we see just minor changes over time? Kindly let me know in the comments below. So guys, see you in my next video. Remember to stay strong, stay healthy, and never neglect knowledge. Peace out.